so I get a ton of questions on these PDPs. What modifications do I do? What brand, base pads, what optic, etc. So I wanted to go over this particular one real quick with you guys. So this is a 5-inch full-size PDP. I carry this thing. I teach with this thing. I shoot matches with it, right? Shoot USPSA carry optics with this gun. I do a lot of stuff with this gun. It's got several thousand rounds on it, probably somewhere close to about 80,000 rounds on this thing so far. But the first thing that I do to basically all of my PDPs across the board, right, is change the recoil spring and guide rod. So if you get a ZR tactical guide rod, what that allows you to do is run a ISMI flat wire G17 spring. The weight that I go with is a 15 pound, right? I know that you can go lighter. Some people do 13, some people even get down to 11. But in my experience, every time I've done that, if my gun isn't super clean all the time, I start getting malfunctions, or the gun doesn't cycle properly, or it doesn't go into battery. So for me, the juice just isn't worth the squeeze to go lower than 15. If you're gonna clean your gun all the time and keep it clean, right? Then by all means, go lower than 15 pounds. You'll be just fine, right? But just make sure that you keep it clean. But if you're not, I would go with a 15. I'm not one to clean guns a bunch. I would much rather be shooting them than cleaning them. So I go with a 15. I love the SROs. As of now, as the time I'm doing this video, for me, it's hard to pick a dot that I like better than an SRO. I'll be honest with you guys. The window is nice and tall. They come in a 5 MOA, which I think is awesome. And yeah, it's just a great dot. Do you need an SRO? No, you don't, right? There's a ton of dots out there these days that do a really, really great job. Red dot choice is almost 100% personal preference, right? Between the really good dots, the Hollow Suns, the Trijicons, the Aim Points, the Steiner, like, dude, pick one that you like and go run that thing, right? Moving down, I got silicone carbide on this grip. Since I do compete with this in USPSA, I wanted to silicone carbide it. It gets hot as hell here in North Carolina, and I just don't want this thing slipping around in my hands. Moving forward, we got the Walther Dynamic Performance Trigger. This trigger, I don't even believe that this is debatable. This trigger is easily the nicest striker fire trigger on the market. Some come pretty close. I think that the M&P Apex trigger comes close. I think the Glock Timney trigger comes close, but neither of them compare to this thing, right? This is the nicest striker fire trigger I've ever had in a gun. So this particular one breaks right at about 2.5 pounds. I'm assuming that's because of all the rounds I have on it. But the other ones that I have are about 3.5 pounds, but very, very clean. Lots of striker fired triggers. When you get to the wall and then add a little bit more pressure, there's probably going to be another wall, and then maybe even another wall, right? These triggers, not so. You get to the wall, that's where it's going to break, okay? That's what I like about these triggers a lot. They're very, very easy to prep and very, very repeatable, and yeah, it's just, I can't say enough good things about this particular trigger, man. It's the best striker fire trigger I've ever used. So Walther Dynamic Performance Trigger. Moving up from that, we've got a Modlite PLH V2, the PL350 with a PLH V2 head, I should say. It's a mouthful. I go with the PLH V2 head because I feel like it complements a pistol really, really well. I know some people like the OKW head. The OKW has more throw than it does spill. For me, the PLH V2 head makes a little bit more sense on a pistol because I don't need a ton of throw like the OKW gives you. Although this does have a ton of throw, it has more spill. So I think the PLH V2 lends itself pretty well to a pistol. The mag extensions that I use, usually I get the Taylor Freelance, right? And these are the 140 millimeter, I think they're +3, but they're 140 millimeter, right? I have to get the 140 millimeter because I need it to fit in the box. for USPSA and stay legal for carry optics. So I get the 140 millimeter base pads. These things should hold either 22 or 23 rounds after I get those base pads. But honestly, guys, that's pretty much all I do to these guns. I don't change the barrel. It shoots plenty accurate enough. And yeah, that's pretty much it. If you do all of this stuff and don't train with the stuff that you put on the gun, none of this stuff will mean anything. So that's the most important thing. Get out and train. Figure out what you dig about this gun and what you don't, and change what you don't, and upgrade as you see fit. Go out and train.